Hey guys. So, general suits, choices, recommendations, and some strategy around it. Um, so first thing I will point out, you definitely want to get the trainer. Now, really, to be honest, the one you're going to want to use if you're going to use it is going to be the level 3. But it's a good, solid suit. Um, Actually, right there in it, they show melee combo control and evasion control, which is things you're going to need to know how to do as a general player. Most generals have that. There are a few exceptions, which you'll see here in a minute. I'm going to go ahead and go into oops, wrong thing. The suits I have, and as you can see here, we'll just go down to 200. But overall, generals, you're going to have more generals. But on most teams, you're going to want more generals. So again, what I covered before, typically you'll see a team of all generals, one support, and one raid. You can do others, but that's kind of the meta, if you will. Lastly, though, play what you're good with, play what you're wanting to play, kind of have some fun. But there are people who will leave because you're not fitting the meta, especially in rated. Because, typically, why is a meta a thing is because people want to win, and that's the commonly used thing at the top of the top. So in my opinion, though, I love all support comps just because I'm a support main, and yeah, it's definitely a viable thing you can do. The thing is, you got to play it like an all support comp. So, you might have to change your play style up a bit, but play what you want, have fun. That's the main point of a game. GM Night Seeker is something that's going to be pretty far off, but luckily it's in the DP store. But for the most part, you can get an FS pretty early. They do like to drop out of boxes a lot, so yeah, you probably will find a couple of these. Muff is something that just got nerfed, but it's still a really strong suit, but it's only in box only. Let's see what you can buy though. The GM Kai, the GM Ground type, the GM, and the FS. I think the FS is better than just the Zaku 2. I mean, just looking at the parts, it looks a bit more solid. And I think it has, and this is one thing to do on most suits, check your skills. I believe it has a yeah, okay, so you got a melee combo, so you can attack twice. So I would probably recommend the FS over the Zaku 2. Luckily, it doesn't take that long to get to. A lot of people probably are already there, since we're pretty much getting into the weekend now. Other than that, that's about it for 200 cost. Yeah, that one takes a little bit longer to get. But overall, GM Trainer is really solid suit, ground type or Kai. I think I've seen a couple of people use the GM, but I think it's typically the Trainer ground type or the Kai that gets used. I want to recall that they did buff the GM recently, so again, not the biggest trainer, or not the biggest trainer player, not the biggest general player, but yeah. These 5 are definitely the suits that I would see early on, till people got stuff like the Kamuff or the Night Seeker. Alright, moving on to 250. Armor GM is amazing, but sadly it's box only. For the most part, anything that's said about the previous suits, it's kind of the same thing all the way up that you go. So ground type, pretty solid. FS, pretty solid. You see those quite a bit. In space, GM Command is pretty amazing. So if you can get one of those, they're really good in space. They're definitely solid suits. Command, there for a while, was pretty much one of the most used 250s. Now we've got some other stuff like these 2 suits. So, but Command is definitely a solid high tier suit. So check it out. Cold Districts is another one you can get. So for the most part, these 5 are going to be pretty easy for you to buy. The Zaku 2 Kai, I actually used it in a game on my new account, so you start off with this, pretty cool. You know, it's an okay suit. I probably would say space maybe for the Kai, and then ground, try to get one of these. But they're pretty easy to get. Lance Corporal isn't that far off. I think I'm getting kind of close on my new account. We'll see. I forgot where it's at in private first class, but yeah. Like I said though, GM Command, really solid. But here is an example with the Cold Districts. It recently got buffed. It's one of my favorites. Yes, I do Glass Cannon. Obviously with parts you won't be able to do that, but equip what you can. And yeah, the grenade and the gun, it fires really rapidly. Pretty amazing. You only have one melee, but you have maneuver armor, so you don't have the typical dodge roll that most general types have. You have maneuver armor, so you're kind of playing like a raid when it comes to dealing with explosions and such. Sometimes you can use that to your advantage. I've seen some Cold District type players that's pretty much all they play, and man, do they destroy. It's actually pretty impressive. Overall though, really solid suit. Would recommend trying it out at least. I like it because it's got a lot of pew pew. So other than that though, they just added the level 3 and 4 for this, so that'll be up at 350 and 400. Probably a really good suit, just saying. With that said, let's go and move to 300. Again, with everything said before, most stuff pretty solid. At this point, you could get a Dom for 300, and you can actually get that really early on. Doms are okay. The spread beam is kind of awkward to get used to. You have to be really close. As you can see, they're 100 range. You pretty much need to be in front of the target, and you hit them with it, switch to your beam saber, and knock them down. Well, you'll do your melee combo. So, 2 melees, knock them down, dash back, dash forward, hit them again. That whole combo, which we'll go over that here when I get into an actual practice game. Other than that, it's got the bazooka. Does it start with... It might start with... I can't remember if it starts with the giant bazooka, but this might be your way to get the giant bazooka level 1. Actually, wait, I can go ahead and swap to a new set, yes. So it does come with a giant bazooka. That's pretty nice. Other than that, though, we have the GM pretty early. Kamuf, again, solid suit, but box. So the space type looks like it goes up to Corporal here. That's kind of awkward. But luckily you can get either the GM ground type, the GM Kai, pretty early. We did get the Gundam ground type, and this is, in my opinion, one of the better suits at 300 cost. So I've been using it whenever I play General on my new account that I was playing on. Goofy D is a really good suit. Decent skill cap, but really solid suit. If you can get it out of a box, it is definitely something to look at. Corporal 1 for that. Not too bad. Corporal... Okay, we got the Rick Dom. You can get really early. It's an okay suit in space. Not too bad. White Dingo has a meme gun that I don't have, but yeah, that's something to... If you ever get one of those. We did get the Zaku 1 GS. Now, I originally would call it the 4-man's Goof VD, but I would actually have to say, kind of now learning a bit more about it, that, you know, with the smoke and the Sturmfaust and stuff, now it doesn't start with the Rakuten Bazooka, but if you can get this from the Dom Tropin, I forget how long it takes to get that, but we'll be hitting that in the next cost, I believe. So if you can get this, it'll make it feel a lot better. But until then, you're going to have to just deal with the machine gun, and your only stun is going to be the Sturmfaust to get to your melee combo. Overall, though, really solid suit. I would say it has a little bit of a skill cap, but yeah, definitely a good general that we got. We've actually got really 2 solid 300 cost. If you want to just stick with these 2 for now, that would be just fine. That saves you some DP. Moving on to 350. Yep, 350 Dom Tropin, but you can't do that till Corporal 1, so a little bit of a grind there on XP. Luckily, during the end of the month, you're gonna get people start getting their medals, so you'll be getting a lot of XP and stuff pretty quickly. So we got Cold Districts, again, still solid. Actually, we're starting to get pretty high in the rank, the cost. Here we go. There we go. That's what I needed. I'm going to go over some of these too on my other account after I get done with this and actually show what I would buy. I was doing a general type setup. So, the Haimo Zaku is fantastic. I love it. It's one of my favorites to play. You can get the simplified, let's see, where's the rank? Yeah, you can get that really early, looks like, at Lance Corporal. So, definitely a suit to check out. And then we got the Gelgoog. I think these are the only two that you can buy really early. So Gelgoog and the Haimo Zaku would be the two that I would look at. They have a bit different playstyles. So remember, with beams you can charge them up. So the Gelgoog beam rifle, charge it up to get that stagger, and then you can go ahead and beam Naginata them down with a melee combo. Otherwise though, the shot doesn't stagger outright, so that's kind of a thing. I think for the most part, okay, Hygog you can get pretty early, but it is more of a meme suit. You want to have fun, flail around, and stagger yourself with your own missile half the time. Yeah, that's what this suit does. Its model, that missile clips on the arm. Like, you could be standing even with it hanging off a rock and somehow still clip the rock. I don't know how it does it, but yeah, this suit is kind of rough to use, but it's definitely funny and silly and has a great counter. So if you have the extra DP, I would say check it out just for the memes. But as far as winning games or being pretty competitive, I would say stick to the Gelgoog or the high mobility type really early on. In space, I guess the Gelgoog is going to be the one you're going to use, or the Haimo again. But yeah, those are pretty much the choices. Some pretty top tier suits: the Agzaku, the Ifrit, GM ground type. Commander still holds its own. I love the Cold District still. Gotcha is pretty good. VD. Garage Smisher is still pretty solid. And I'm missing one that I cannot remember right now, but I don't think I have it. There was something that just popped in my head. Oh well, moving on. We got 400s. Now 400s, again, the higher you get, the higher the rank is typically going to pop up for you to get the suit. So the reason why Agzaku is really good is it prevents stealth, or it doesn't, well, it has a anti-stealth so that people will show up, and it nullifies stealth up to level 2. So when you ever look at that, I think I can't remember what the Nightseeker has. It might just be level 1, but I'd have to check those skills. Same here though. Really good suit, really good suit. Haven't been sold yet on the Gatling cannons, but oh man, do they sound good. So if just for the sound alone, I approve. Command, still solid suit. We just got the GM custom. Sadly, it was a mission reward, so I'm glad they're actually putting that exclamation there now. But I don't know if it's going to come in the ticket shop or when it's going to show up. But if you can get that on a ticket shop, I've seen a lot of it used. Pretty solid suit. Body Alpha, really solid. Oh, and in space, the Interceptor's insane, by the way. That was at 350 as well. So here we go. We got the Grandpa Gundam. It's actually a pretty solid suit all around. They just buffed it to have 15 across the board for resistances. Yeah, I'm a fan of it now. Used it a couple of times now that it's been buffed on the new account. Feels pretty good. Again, Gelgoog. Around this time, you're going to be hitting Corporal 1 in about a week or two. So, again, like I said, higher cost. I don't think there's anything really that... Okay, so you got the FS. I mean, if you have to, fall back on the FS. Buy that early. I don't know what the level 6 cost, but yeah. Other than that, if you can hold out to Corporal 1 for either, again, the Haimo or the Yogug, or just use the Gundam. If you're liking the Gundam seems to be fine right now. Pretty solid. But if you need something else, these three are probably going to be your only choices. Unless I missed something here. Can I do this in rank? No. Okay. Anyway, moving on to 450. So the same thing is going to apply at 450. Can we actually even... Okay, we can buy one. We can buy 2, 3. Oh, wait, did I miss the Easy 8? Oh my, the Easy 8. That's what I'm missing at 350. Okay, I don't have the Easy 8 at 350. The Easy 8 is a beast of a suit. I'll check here in a second when I back out to see if you can buy it. Again, I'll be doing this on my other account real quick here in a few moments. But yeah, if you get any of these suits here, pretty much any of these suits are good. Really solid, can be competitive. Played the GM Sniper 2 White Dingo here last night on recommendation of a friend of mine. You know, it's kind of, I love support style play. GM Unit 4 to a lesser extent. The Kempfer is a really awesome high skill cap suit. Yeah, I'm a fan. Yeah, it's really good. It's a glass cannon. The Kempfer is definitely a glass cannon suit, but it is pretty amazing. Big fan of this suit. I'll just show the weapons real quick. You got a shotgun for a stagger. You got bazookas. You got Sturmfaust. And then you got your 2 melee combo hit. So you can open up with, I think it's Sturmfaust or bazooka that can be fired while jumping. Then if you're close enough, you could switch to the shotgun for a stagger or bazooka and then melee. So you pretty much can get 1, 2, 3 stuns, then melee twice into a knockdown, then come back and melee them again. This thing is a powerhouse when it comes to damage. Yeah, but the thing is, again, your life is low. That's 12,000 at 450 cost. I have more health on my 300 cost Zaku cannon. So yeah, it's pretty squish. Other than that though, like I said, any of these suits are really solid. You get any of these, outstanding. Again, we didn't get any of these for the release, but of course, like I said, I like in the support video, I love the full armor, so check that out at least. But if you're leaning general type, any of these that I'm showing here are really good. Check those out. Moving up to 500 in space. At this point, you're going to be getting into unrestricted, so a lot of people are going to be moving on to 550. If you're playing unrestricted, kind of use what you got. Psycho Zaku in space now is kind of getting outclassed by things that are faster. Kind of same with the Thunderbolt as far as raid. But then you have, well, right here, exactly, these two, for sure. And I'd probably use this over anything that I have in 500 in space, for sure. On ground, though, so I'm lacking the GPO-1 and the GPO-3. Kind of same deal. Use what you got if you're playing unrestricted. Try to have some fun. Again, I recommend staying to the lower costs if you're trying to really win or push your rating up. But because the thing is, you just can't compete with people who have these parts. And when these parts, you know, Sergeant, Master Sergeant, for both of these, this is damage. This is a lot of percentage damage. That's 17% and 18% for melee and ranged in these 4 parts. That's a lot of damage. If you don't have those parts and you're going against me, I'm going to kill you 3 or 4 hits before you can even kill me. Maybe not that much. I'd actually like to test it, so maybe I can get a game going like that with a friend of mine, just to see parts versus no parts, and actually get some solid number hits. But yeah, parts do make a huge difference, and it takes some time to be able to buy them. I would recommend putting on whatever defense you can, though, as early as possible. You can get a lot of the defense stuff pretty early. And I mean, that's just kind of a general thing. I plan to do a parts video later. Looking over here though, we'll go ahead and DP counter. Like I said, the Easy 8's definitely one, but you can go ahead and, okay, I've already got it to rank. Nice. So, there we go. Okay, so early stuff that you can get, again, like I said, the GM and the GM-I is pretty good. FS is good. Dom, if you like the Dom playstyle, they're kind of fun to play around with. Not my thing. Well, you know, I say that, and it's just really the Dom is not my thing. The Dom and the Rick Dom, and maybe the Rick Dom too, are my 3 least favorite Dom style play. Whereas the Armor GM moves like a Dom. It's pretty much a better Dom overall. The Easy 8, really solid suit. You can get it pretty early. The Ifrit, really solid suit. You can get it early. So, again, I'd recommend... Oh, and you can get the Fritz Helm Zaku 2... Oops. Okay. I'm glad I accidentally messed that up, which I didn't have it anyway. But you can get the Zaku Bazooka this way now. I remember the Zaku Bazooka was actually kind of an awkward thing to get. So, that might be the way I recommend this, is getting the Zaku Bazooka with the Fritz Helm. That's pretty nice, actually. Do I even have the Zaku Bazooka? Yeah, I have it. But the reason why I point out the Zaku Bazooka is you're going to want to combo together with the Bazooka to get your melee combo, which you'll be seeing here in a minute. And this is why there is typically a Bazooka meta. So, just had to check that out real quick. Anyway, let's go ahead and hop into my other account. I'll show you that, and then we'll get into some gameplay. Okay, so on my alt account here, as you can see, again, I play a lot of supports. I did get a couple of lucky rolls on that first half off 72-hour 10 spin using the training tokens and the daily missions that I got for the first day. But I bought the Zaku Cannon all the way up to 300. So I cover all costs up to 300, which is half the cost you're going to see when you're trying to queue for rating. Other than that, we got the mass production type gun cannon, which is actually a really solid suit. I would recommend it for support. Again, just kind of showing this though as, you know, what I've done as a support player. Full armor we got as well, so kind of using that. And then I got lucky at 400 cost. But I pretty much had everything except for 400 cost covered with some kind of suit that I could play. And even at 400, I would still use this up until I got this. And the only one I'm actually missing right now is 350. So, yeah, now I'm missing just one, so sorry. Would have been missing 2 before. So, yeah, I do recommend trying to play whatever cost you're at. And as any player, playing the other 2 types definitely helps you practice and know what they're going to do. For instance, I just got the G-Line Assault. So I finally played it, and now I actually know some of its weaknesses because, yeah, before I was just like, man, this thing's pretty OP. It's still a really solid suit. It's very versatile, and it's a great 450 for raids. But anyway, let's get into the main part of this. So generals, yeah, I was looking here to see what I had. So I don't really have anything that's gonna mess with this. Going into the supply counter here, what can I buy with EP if I'm a general type player and low rank? So we're going to try to find 200 cost and up. So I think most of these... Well, okay, cool. We're running out of the 150s and stuff pretty quick. Zaku 2, probably wouldn't start with that. I would try to get either to a GM or just go ahead and start with a GM ground type. Now, you have to be private first class before you can go ahead and get the GM ground type. But again, you get the trainer at 200 already. So that kind of saves you some DP there early on. You can go ahead and start with the ground type and take the ground type all the way up. Or again, the Zaku 2 type FS is also a pretty solid suit. And you can go ahead and take that up to level 6, which is... That's the level 6 right here. Okay, so up to 400 cost. So as a general player, you can go ahead and have all the way up to 400 cost pretty much covered from just the Zaku 2 type FS. And pretty cheap overall. So again, as a general player, you typically have a lot of choices, whereas support and raid typically have a lot less or less. Again, the Fritz helmet is a good source for the Zaku Bazooka. So just reiterating this, when you buy a suit, whatever weapon it has, you can go ahead and get that weapon, and you don't have to actually buy it. Someone's really getting those fireworks going on in the background there. Anyway, moving on, we got the Hygog again as kind of a YOLO kind of thing. The Easy 8's one that I don't have on my main, so just throwing this out here as just another solid option. Easy 8 was used a lot in the ranked, and it is a great suit. Luckily, it is one that you can get at Lance Corporal. So early on, I'd say these are probably the suits that you could get at pretty easily within a couple of weeks if you're playing very casually. You could definitely do this in a week. Right now, I'm almost on this account. I'll look here in a second, but I think I'm almost Lance Corporal as it is. But the Hymo and the Gelgoog are two solid options that you can get pretty early on. If you wanted to try a little bit different of a playstyle from, say, the Zaku 2 type FS, or like a GM ground type, or even, say, Gundam Easy 8. Now, with all of these, one thing I haven't really said, and hopefully this makes sense when showing off, well, when I show off the Gundam ground type, you're going to want something that's going to stagger and you can combo into a melee. So bazooka, something that you can charge, a beam that you can charge, like the Gelgoog beam rifle. You definitely want one of those options so that you can get a stagger into a melee, because that's going to be your basic combo. Something though like the Cold Districts, which also is another suit I recommend trying out. You're going to use the grenade into a melee and then shoot them while they're down, or melee them again depending on the situation. You can always just shoot, reload, switch to the grenade, grenade them, then knock them down with the beam saber. So you have a few options with it. If you like the pew-pewing and shooting more bullets, then Cold District's definitely where it's at. Again, the higher you get in cost, it's going to start going up to about Corporal, so that's going to take you a little bit to get there. And that's probably one of the hardest parts is, well, parts, and ranking up to get the parts. So equip whatever you can and just try to do your best with what you got. Again, lower cost suits and lower cost rated matches are going to probably feel better and net you more wins than losses. Because again, somebody who has parts and somebody who doesn't, that's, as I showed with the Gelgoog, that's quite a bit of difference. That's 18% and 17% on melee and ranged. So just to kind of go over it again, Zaku 2 Type FS, if you like that suit, you can take that all the way up to 400 cost. And the ground type you can take up to 350 cost. Then at a bit higher cost though, or at a bit higher rank, you can go ahead and start looking at the Hymo Zaku or the Gelgoog, and then maybe even the Cold District. Those three, and oh yeah, with the Hymo Zaku, you want the simplified missile launcher, I think is what it's called. Let's see, let's find. Oh, that's the wrong one. Here we go. This one. So you can also get this at Lance Corporal as well. So go ahead, and as you get higher levels of the Zaku, Hymo Zaku, go ahead and get higher levels of this. So you shoot 4 rockets. Each one will cause a stagger. So you can do some decent damage and hit from a pretty far range and cover a pretty far or pretty wide area. Unlike just shooting a rocket launcher of some kind, or like the Zaku Bazooka. So anyway, let's go ahead and hop into some gameplay. Also looking at this new account, it's been 2 days. Private first class, level 9. So I got one more level, and then I can go ahead and rank up to Lance Corporal. So I'm almost there to buying stuff like the Gelgoog or the Hymo Zaku. Okay, so here we are in the ground type Gundam. I chose this because, again, it's something we have that got given out to people. So to get the stagger initially, you want to charge up. Then you can go in for your melee combo. You get 2 hits, knock somebody down, dash back, go in, and go for the 2 hits. Some suits will have the ability to hit 2 melees fast enough. Some won't. Some you'll be able to do side and neutral. Neutral is pretty much either not hitting anything or holding forward when you're hitting the swing. So, the other way to do the combo is to get the flash grenade stun. So you're firing that out, then 1, 2, dash, dash, 1, 2. And most of the time, like again, you're gonna be able to get 1 extra melee off with your full combo. So if you're really far off, you have the beam, you're ready to go pretty far, you know, you're gonna poke. But when you can, you fire it, get them with that, and then come in for the last bit. Supports, again, don't have a dodge roll, so they won't really be able to get out of stagger. Neither does raids. So, what do generals have that raids and supports don't? Well, it's a dodge roll. So say when you're staggered, you can see that lasts a couple of seconds there, or well, about a second-ish. Anyway, what you can do when you're staggered is you dash twice in a direction, however you want to do it, and you'll do a dodge roll. During that, as you notice down here, you'll have your iframes, and you can do it while you're going back like that. You can do it forward, however you need to do it. This will prevent some damage. So, for instance, if this was a person, they could dodge roll when I fire that, and then instead of, oop, that hit next to the shield, which is one reason why I decided to do this one, because I figured people are probably like, wait, how does this work sometimes? Because I've had the same problem using the weapons rack a lot. Sometimes you gotta be very, I don't know whether the word is accurate with where you're placing this. So say if I shoot it, you know, kind of right there, it gets them. But if I get a little bit behind them, so you kind of got to be around the head for the AoE is what I can tell. I kind of want to test this more myself. So I'm not exactly 100% sure the mechanics of the flare itself. It's just, you know, you get it right in front of them and you're good to go. So that can be a little awkward sometimes, so be aware when you do throw that. If you pull out the beam saber and you missed, you know, they could tackle you, get that counter. So maybe you can use this too to bait their tackle, and then, you know, they tackle past you or tackle into you, and then by the time the tackle's done, you go ahead and you get your combo off. So not too bad, pretty good. Also, if you notice too, while I'm dashing, and go ahead and end with a slash. Does this have the boost? I forgot which skill it is, but it's one I went over in the basics video. Oop, there's my dog. He's up. The forced injector. Does this have it? Okay, no, it doesn't. Otherwise, I could cancel which direction I'm going in mid boost and boost the other direction. So. Again, the combo for most things you'll hit. So if you have a bazooka, which is one of the things with the bazooka meta, you're going to want to get a bazooka, stagger them with it, do 2 melees, dash back in, whoops, or dodge roll like that. That works too. But then your boost is done, so you can't hack or anything later. So be careful not to do what I just did. And you get that full combo off. Now, I kind of regret not going to another map, because I was kind of show how traversing another map in the middle of videos. Again, I'm going to do map videos on everything, but yeah, that's pretty much the basics of a general type. Hope this helps. So anyway, again, I've got Discord. It'll be in the description down below. I've also stream on Twitch, so come check me out there if you want. But anyway, that'll be all for this one. Thanks for watching. Have a good one. Peace.